Alright guys, welcome back to Strong Successful Male. So for today, I'm going to go over an email that was sent from a subscriber. This is from a guy. He is a United States Marine Corps combat veteran. In other words, he is a bad mother effer. And a guy that deserves respect and commands respect wherever he goes. And he's going to share his story here about experiences he's having with his girlfriend's family. About how his girlfriend came from a family where pretty much women ran the show, and the men were as weak as can be, and it's a whole freaking mess, and a whole lot of turmoil and drama in her family. And pretty much how he, being who he is and his life experiences, has laid down the law and set the stage in his relationship with her that he's in charge, he's the leader, he's the alpha in a relationship, and it's definitely shaken off how she was raised. But also, in terms of dynamics with her family, he's been standing up to her family, etc., and she's been distancing herself from them because, as you're going to see, they are a very, to put it mildly, dysfunctional, toxic family. And I'm doing this, guys, for a number of reasons. This is a long story, but it's very important for you guys, especially you relationship guys that think one day you want to get married and all that, even though you know my opinion on marriage in this modern age. How important it is that you always have to stand up for yourself. Not just with family or girlfriends, but in life. Because otherwise people will take advantage of you and walk all over you. How it's so important for the man to be the leader in the relationship, not letting her lead, you lead. And the problems that can arise if you don't. And most important to this whole story is about a girl's family. Guys, if you are going to do relationships and one day get married, you got to know what her family's like. You need to know the whole ins and outs, the dynamics with her and her family, how the family's like, everything there. Because if you get married, that's going to be your family. Those are going to become the grandparents and aunts and uncles and cousins to your children. And it's going to impact your life for pretty much one way or another the rest of your life. So you got to do that. And you're going to see here, guys, this girl's family, in my opinion, is completely effed up. And I'm going to be expressing my views and opinions about how this guy, in my opinion, how should handle things at the end of the story. But you're going to see here exactly what this guy's dealing with. And the whole time you're going to be thinking, why the hell is this guy getting themselves in this situation? But so many guys do that. Remember, what her family life is like is going to impact your future family life. I can't stress that enough, and you will see in a second. And here come the sirens. We haven't heard them for a while for recent videos. Well, there you go. Okay, he starts out saying, "Good afternoon, SSM. I just got done watching the second part of your update girlfriend video, and I wanted to match the one that I have." It says, "I'll try to keep it simple and brief, but there's a lot." Well, bro, it ain't brief. This is a long freaking story, but that's all right. A lot of lessons in this. It says, to begin with, I'm a United States Marine Corps combat veteran. I did 2 tours in Afghanistan as a machine gunner infantryman. I received my black belt in Marine Corps martial arts and all other sorts of courses that resulted in character buildup, which is now a huge part that makes the foundation of the man that I am, on top of not being a U.S. born or raised resident, and the struggle blessing I faced from a young age that have allowed me to become and have such strong fundamentals. I've been with my girlfriend for a few years now, and before you comment or anyone, know that she has paid her dues with me and understands that I'm the leader and the alpha in this household, and she submits to that. Good, that's the way it should be. It says, it wasn't always the case, of course, and not because she didn't want to, but because her family and past friends, which is mainly all girls, tried convincing her that I was controlling for having set boundaries and raised her to believe that girls run the world. Yeah, the whole future is female horse shit. Yeah, God forbid a man sets boundaries in a relationship or anything like that, and he's controlling, he's the bad guy. But it's perfectly okay for her to do that, right? Both parties in a relationship can have boundaries, deal breakers, and all that. Because if you don't, boundaries are crossed, there's drama, there's problems. It says, boy, was that ground shook when I stepped in. First off, let me just clear this now and say that they are good people. All of them. They just have horrible tendencies and no respect for boundaries or privacy. This is due to the weak nature of all the men in that family possess. Well, I'm going to come back to that later, but I honestly, from this story, do not think they're good people. Actually, I think they're toxic and screwed up. And well, I'll get back to that at the end and how I think you ought to be careful at the end of the story. He says, so for many years, I've tolerated at a distance until the point where my own mother and my own Marine Corps brothers who visited were treated like shit. All this was with alcohol involved. From their end, they like to party. Girls just want to have fun, right? I hate alcoholics. I have no tolerance. That's when my attitude and demeanor changed, and I began to hold my girlfriend accountable to have her stand up for our relationship and uphold my respect as her man, or I will step in and do things my way. Of course, she didn't do that at first, to how afraid of her family, the girls mainly, she was, because they would all gang up on her and belittle her, castrate her from the family, and make her feel shameful to even dare stand up to them, which, funny enough, is exactly what they need in the first place. What a great family. And remember, bro, this could be your family, and we're just getting started here. I assured her that the only reason they behave that way they do is because no one ever stands up to them and lays down the disciplinary actions needed to put them in their place. The men just allow the girls to overpower everyone while they sit back in their own estrogen ass and pay for the bills, hence the girls just want to have fun. Women have no respect for weak men. If men don't stand up for themselves and draw a line in the sand and lead and don't take any shit, you're going to get a lot of bullshit. Women will not love a guy they don't respect. And they won't follow a guy and let him take the lead if they don't respect him and trust his masculine essence, if you will. So I had to literally mold my girlfriend out of what she was used to. But I only did so because she is a hell of a woman and pure of heart. She just needed a true man and intellect to guide her, because the Lord knows her father doesn't even know where to start. No offense to him, he's a good father for providing materialistic things, but failed terribly when it came to dynamics and human instincts, values, and ethics. Well, it doesn't sound very good to me. I'll skip to where I had to step in and pull them all in their place, put them all in their place, but know that it took 2 years of me tolerating and staying stoic, calm for many years before I acted to allow my girlfriend to step up to the plate. 2 years you're dealing with this drama? My friend, I get you may really dig her and think she's great and all, but there are other women out there that you can be with that aren't going to have what you guys are about to hear in a minute. Let's just keep that in mind. You don't need this turmoil and drama. I want you guys to live in a life where there isn't any drama, not inviting it and getting in relationships where you have to deal with it all the freaking time. He says, come Christmas 2021, so 2 months ago, my girlfriend asked me to go to her family holiday gathering, which I replied that I'd rather not. Well, there's a sign. I was already not in the best of place with them due to drama in Thanksgiving, and also my mother was in the hospital due to have spinal surgery. But she said she will do what she needs to do as a woman for our relationship to have that respect in place. So I decided to hold her to that word, and here it goes. On Christmas Eve and day, her family were already drunk after having been to church in the morning, stating their fake-ass prayers and wisdoms to God, which I sat myself far away from them because I couldn't believe that they actually think going to church is enough for them to be saved and have God on their side, especially with how toxic they are towards one another soon as church is over. Yeah, well, a lot of people go to church on Christmas and Easter and think everything's washed away and they go back to being complete pieces of garbage. A lot of hypocrites I've encountered. I remember being a kid in church. I had to go every weekend growing up. And I'd see people there, people I recognized, families, all that, and I knew they were what they were like outside those walls. Made me shake my head. He said, of course, I was judged for sitting by myself and away from the family, but I don't owe an explanation to anyone, so I decided to ignore it and turn my attention to my own God. As the night ensued, one of her cousins kept pressuring me by saying that I have to earn my seat in that family and that as long as my girlfriend looks happy, then hell, respect me. Pfft. This guy's commanding respect from a Marine Corps combat veteran? Okay. My girlfriend stepped in and strongly assured him that he's wrong, that I am a man outside our relationship and that he will respect me as such, otherwise he'll have to deal with her, or have to deal with me, have her to deal with. Of course, he fought back, but his girlfriend actually stepped in and backed my girlfriend. So after a while of tug and pull, I stepped in and sternly said, you will respect me or you will face what is me, and that I don't owe him anything to prove to him that I'm worthy of being in the family. I actually said I don't care to be part of the family. My response was my relationship with my girlfriend and protecting that if need be, regardless if you're family or not. And this is Christmas, by the way. This shit's going down. He should have stuck to his gun and didn't go to that party, given how he said Thanksgiving was a drama fest. He then chilled out and actually apologized and began being cool. That's an act. It's because you scared him. As the night went on, things were actually fun and all right, but then the rest of the family came, and one of her uncles, for whatever reason, threatened to off me if I did anything to my girlfriend, which, funny enough, is the uncle everyone hates, and that's because he's blood. Only there because he's blood. His own son, who also is a veteran, wants nothing to do with him. Same veteran's mother is just as toxic and felt the need to constantly hit my on my back for whatever reason every time she walked by. I was about to go off on her, but with the entire family there and occasion, it was best I didn't. More drama went on within that night between the family, and to where one of the uncles actually had a heart stroke from all the chaos, and my girlfriend's sister, who's a nurse and 27, and we urged her to do her job, and her words were, "I'm off the clock and on vacation." Just shows how toxic the damn family is. Then why are you with her? Unless she's willing to completely part ways with this family for good, you need to seriously question whether you want to have a future with her, because this is going to be your family, dude. See this shit, guys? There's a lot of freaking lowlifes in this world. Why invite them into your life? Fast forward later that night, and I was helping one of her cousins, who I'm actually close with which ironically he too stays his distance from the family due to the drama, but he wanted life advice as I was helping him. The first cousin from earlier intervened and wanted to put his 2 cents in now that I've cleared the air with him and showed him that I'm the boss here. After a few sentences, his girlfriend told him to leave us, and so did my girlfriend. As she made her way up the stairs, he decided to slap her ass and joke about it. My girlfriend was furious and told him strongly to never lay hands on her again, and his girlfriend just the same. Her male cousin is smacking her in the ass? Well, you're going to see there's more to this. He then replied, "You're my cousin. I can do whatever I want." I'd cold cock that asshole. He says, mind you, he's in his 40s. I then step in and pull him aside and tell him that as a man where I'm coming from. He sobered up immediately and apologized, and even apologized again to my girlfriend. More to it here in a second, but we had to go upstairs and finally eat and open presents. We waited and stood for another 2 hours until I had enough and told my girlfriend it's time to go, that I'm ready to have my peace and quiet. She was nervous to tell her mother because she knew she'd react, but I said it's time for her to stand up. We bought out an Airbnb and vehicle and needed time to decompress from the drama. She told her mother, and her mother replied in front of the family, yelling, "No, you're not. You're staying. Do you think I want to be here? No, but since I'm staying, you're staying." Mind you, excuse me. Mind you, we are both in our late 20s, 25 for her and 28 for me. In other words, you're not freaking kids. You're adults. And you're a combat vet that has seen more shit than most people in 20 lifetimes. So, yeah, you do what you want. I looked at her as regards to we are leaving, and my girlfriend broke down from all the pressure, for she felt like she couldn't please me and her family. I felt betrayed because she broke down and had an episode in front of the entire family that already has it out for me. I was not the right place or time to do that, so I left. I got my rental and she followed soon, and after apologizing and staying to go home to the Airbnb. Guys, some of the sentences here are jammed together and things like that, so I'm doing my best here. That night I told her how I felt and communicated that I need to be alone. A lot of my harshness and coldness set in, and I could care less about her at the moment. I was not in the right state of mind, and I blame her for putting me in that position. She gave me my time, and when I fell asleep, I woke her up sleeping on the floor next to me. I mentioned that we should break up, that I've had enough of her and her family's BS, and I didn't appreciate her cousin putting his hands on her the way he did. That was, in my opinion, sexual assault from unwanted contact, and I will hold him accountable for as it is. See, look what your gut's telling you. You're like, you know what? I'm tired of all this BS with the family and all this and the drama, so we should break up. Remember that, guys. And remember this to the guy who wrote this. You don't need this shit in your life. Remember he said in the beginning, oh, they're good people and all that? Not so much. She agreed, and we ended up leaving. We left the country to see my family next, and boy, was it much needed. My family is the complete opposite. Loving, compassionate, and peaceful, and I can't express how grateful I was for that. Well, that's awesome that your family is loving, compassionate, and peaceful. And that's a family that if you do one day get married or just have a relationship, you need a girl that comes from a family just like that. Why have all this turmoil in your life? I mean, really, bro? Guys, you don't need this shit. But so many people invite drama in their lives because some people, they need the excitement or whatever. It's crazy if you break down the psychological reasons behind it, but If you want something that's like your family, then you need to seek that out. But I'm telling you now, her family's always going to be the same. And she's going to be impacted by that, no matter what. So keep that in mind. I know I keep coming back to this, but I got to keep really hammering this in because some people just don't understand this. When we returned back to the States, we reestablished our foundation within the relationship, and I told her where I stood. That I see the change in her, but that's not enough. She needs to go up against her family before we can move forward. Good. I'll lay down the law. Problem is, bro, I don't think she's going to shake him off. She began putting her faith in God and finding her own strength, and everything was great until one night her father called, pissed off. He said to her, "Why are you saying my daughter was S-word assaulted? You're breaking our family apart, and I won't have it." I told him as a man to speak with me in person when I was available. I don't have time due to needing to go back to the hospital to tend to my mother and back to work and school full time as well. I like that. Come talk to me in person. We're not going to do this shit over the phone. One-on-one, face-to-face. Old school. He replied with, "Well, I'm free, so you tell me." I told him my schedule, and he says, "Of course, because you're busy. You guys are so busy." His sarcasm. I got mad and calmly replied, "I don't give two shits what you think and or wanted. If you cared so much about the safety of your daughter, then maybe you should have been a better father." Uh-oh. It was harsh, but he needed to hear it. For far too long, he was allowing the wrong people to determine how he should act or behave, and if it's one thing I know, it's how to put people in their place. Did it with my own father and mother. Believe me, I'm not scared to do it with anyone else. Whatever happened to your calm, peaceful, loving family, dude? Maybe you mean they were just, not letting you grow up or something. I don't know, but I just have to ask that. A few other things were said, but I ended it with, "I'll see you tomorrow to discuss this further." I was very upset with my girlfriend because for far too long in our relationship, would I put aside my own mother to deal with her family, and now it was all over. I had to put my own mother aside again to finally end this once and for all. Well, you wouldn't have to deal with any of this bullshit if you realized maybe it's time to cut ties with the girl. Maybe she's a great girl, but just this isn't for you. There's an important thing to consider. When we hung up, I went over the S-word harassment that she needed to bring up because her father didn't even know. To my surprise, my girlfriend thought that it wasn't as serious as I made it out to be. He says her fear set in, I guess, and couldn't believe that she thought it was all right for her 40-year-old cousin to lay inappropriate hands on her. And you're going to see, guys, there's more to this in a moment. After a back-and-forth battle over her family dynamics and how she saw all as normal, because that's what normal was in her family, I gave her the example of my female cousin grabbing my balls in front of her, and if she's cool with that. And she said, honestly, yeah. What do you mean, yeah? I was beyond distraught. In my mind, I was already done with her because the amount of effort and work that would need to go into changing her state of mind from thinking that it's okay to not would be immense, and an energy force I couldn't supply at that time due to my hectic schedule. See, all these signs include, guys, that it's time for him to part ways with her. It's just too much of his energy and time to deal with this. Her, the family, all that. So I gave her another example, and after explanation, she then realized how wrong it was, blah, blah, blah. Then the truth came out about the cousin. This wasn't the first time that her male older cousins as in more than one, did that. There was another situation when she was younger, in her early teens, where they undoubtedly crossed the line. Thankfully, never got into a grape category, but it was assault for sure, and she began crying. Remember back to the beginning, he said this family, they're really good people deep down. Bullshit. These guys sound like they're right out of the fucking trailer park. She never told anyone because her cousins forced her not to. That's when my Marine Corps side came out. At first, I thought I should just break up with her. This isn't my fight, nor do I care to fight it with her. But as I saw this innocent human being in pain that was done to her, not by choice but by force, I knew I needed to save the person from the demons that are her family. Well, remember, bro, all my stories about the White Knights and the Captain Sava. I'm not saying she's a HOE, but you're being the White Knight here, and White Knights, no good deed goes unpunished, so let's keep that in mind, bro. It was my time to step up and intervene. The next day, we go to see her father and mother, and they acted all cool as if nothing happened the night before. This shows how toxic they truly are. Yeah, because this is normal to them. After a quick small talk, I said I would appreciate if we settle this. That's why I'm here. It basically asked what was going on and why I said these things of S-word assault. All the while, the mom just went on about her life and continued to cook and prep meals drum roll please, yet another party for the girls. What a surprise, I know. I mean, it's not like your daughter is crying literally at your face about something as serious as S-word assault, but anyway. So in other words, the mom's all nonchalant about this. The mother who runs the family, this wonderful family. I said to her father, which mind you is also a U.S. Marine Corps veteran. He was logistics during peacetime. He says if she's open and comfortable to speak on the matter, then she will discuss it. So then the father and mother were asked her what's going on, and she let everything out, and I do mean everything out. From how she feels, like how she's not part of the family due to how they have treated her, all herself like she's not worthless, that she's worthless, or less than the other siblings, and how they constantly use the power of family over anything that she decides to do for herself in terms of, well, you're selfish because your family comes first. But yeah, they're all selfish towards about her feelings, and more even to her father not being proud of her for getting a job that pays $85K a year at 24 years old, and her having paid off all her debts. His exact words were, well, that's not $100K, so nothing to be proud of. Meanwhile, he's jobless, and her mom hasn't worked a day in her life other than daycare or hall monitor in high school. Sounds to me that they're probably jealous of her because she's actually making something of herself. You know, I mean, getting a job $85,000 a year at 24 is pretty damn good. And paying off all her debt, this is someone that obviously is on the right path. So you can see this guy's had a good effect on her, but there's all this shit with her family and how damaged she is from her family. That's the issue here, which I keep coming back to. But her parents are assholes. No, they're not good people. My girlfriend set the tone and boundaries and told them that she wants nothing to do with the family. There you go. Although that's her pride just being emotional. That she needs to find her identity and individual outside of the family, and that they need to respect that. And as you can imagine, they turned to me and said, you're doing this to my daughter. You're influencing her to be like this, and clearly she's miserable because of you. Yeah, it's his fault. A guy is standing up for her, a good man here. But it's not their fault because they're trash. Treat her like crap, amongst many other things, the S-word assault issues and all that. Let's forget about that. The audacity. I just kept my mouth shut, and while her father was screaming at me, she defended me and told him they are the problem, not me. Her father insisted that before me, she's always been strong, and she replied with, I was never strong. I was intoxicated from drinking all the time because of how miserable I've been in this family, and you guys encouraged me from a young age to drink so I wouldn't have those feelings. How many of you guys watching this have experienced this or know people that have that when there's family gatherings, everybody gets trashed because they don't want to deal with the family. Like the second they show up, they're down in the drinks because they can't stand dealing with their cousins or their sisters or their mom or their dad or whatever the hell it is. Does that seem like a good thing to you? It is better to be alone than to have that garbage as your family. This is why for a lot of people, their best friends, their bros, they're more of a family than their blood relatives. It says here, some parents write, anyways, that part was a little messed up that he wrote there. It says, anyway, so the S-word assault topic came out, and as my girlfriend was saying, she doesn't feel comfortable going over the details. She assured her father of all the previous situations she encountered when she was a young girl. As she was saying that with tears in her eyes, her mother turns to me yelling, so what? Had those things happen to me when I was young by my uncle, and you don't hear me crying about it. Oh my God. Again, good people, my ass. Her mother had things happen to her, and now she's saying nothing. I didn't hear me crying about it. Toxic, screwed up trailer park family. Bro, either she cuts them out completely or you walk away from all of them. Yeah, now I know where the demons are stemming from, and I couldn't believe that as your own daughter was sitting here telling you what happened, that you tried to compete with her story and one up your own daughter. I mean, where do you get off? Because she's fucking trash. Her mother's trash. And you potentially want to be with this girl and have this be the grandmother of your future kids? Let's think about that. So then her mother starts yelling at me, talking about how she's known her cousin all her life and that he's family, blah, blah, blah. So then I cut her off and say, so that means it's all right if he grapes her then, just as long as he's family. I don't care how long you've known him or who he is. It doesn't make it right, and shame on you for defending someone who assaulted your child all these years. I then told her how I don't feel welcome in this family, and the mother replied, so what? Your GFS father has been dealing with them 30 years, and you don't see him complaining about it. To that I replied as I stood up, so just because he won't stand up for himself and have self-respect means I should tolerate it? I don't tolerate from my own damn family. What makes you think I'm going to allow it from you guys? She got all mad, walked away, my girlfriend crying, and her dad beyond words. Soon after, my girlfriend says she just needs time and space away from them, and they replied saying, I think you should come live at home again, to which she says, you guys are not hearing me. That's not what I need from you guys. That's what you guys want so you can feel better about failing as parents. Come back and live with them? You got to be out of your damn mind. Her father then turns to me and begins yelling, saying, this is my daughter. You will just not walk into her life and have her influenced. Until you marry, she's under my protection. Yeah, you've done a pretty piss-poor job of protecting your daughter, jackass. He says, she's my daughter, not yours. To which I replied, then you should have been a better father. Amen. Obviously, that added amber to the fire, so I got up and said, thank you for your time, and walked away. Well, there's a freaking idea. After a few minutes of her mom yelling and wailing about how horrible her daughter she is, her dad asked me to come back and calmly apologize, and even said thank you for protecting my daughter as he shook my hand. You want to talk about a quick 180 in 30 seconds here. Was it bipolar? So that in itself I did appreciate and knew he could relate. He clearly has a lot of work to do with his wife. Wife hit, I doubt nothing will ever be done. Again, words being jammed together here. A lot more to the story and details I left out, but since then my girlfriend and I have been distanced from her family. It's about freaking time. She still struggles with trying to stick to her guns when it comes to her family. But with me holding her accountable and responsible to the relationship, she's been strong enough to do what needs to be done and stick by it. Okay, that's good. We've all had our altercations as well, to which I even decided to break up for a while because I knew that I was holding her back from her potential of becoming the woman that she is due to being the safety net, and I've been providing her emotionally, spiritually, and financially. And before you guys comment and say I'm a big simp, keep in mind that she's the one who pays all the bills. I pay the mortgage and the other big stuff, like if anything goes out, but since before she moved in, I told her what my demands of living with me are, both financially and householdly. And she's been doing as I requested and demanded. Nothing without reasons, of course. To add, all her close friends are all people I cherish myself. Her close friends are all people I cherish myself and are all good-mannered as well. She has no other baggage other than the unfortunate family that she was born into. If you care to want the hear rest, I'll be sure to send it over. Thank you, SSM. I hope you guys reading this or hearing this understand that as a man, we must stand up for our own internal foundation, rooted with strong ethics and values instilled through daily discipline and fundamental strategies to go about situations. Semper Fi to all the brothers listening. Okay, so that was a long one, guys, and I know probably some points you guys are like, oh my God. Let's get on with it. The point of the whole story is, yes, you got to stand up for yourself. You got to be the leader, blah, blah, blah. But the main thing of this whole story is you guys can't get involved with gals that have families screwed up like that. She may be a great girl, but look how messed up she is because of her family. It's not her fault she was born in that family. It's not her fault all the crap the family did, both in the present day and when she was a child. It's not her fault. But understand, guys, this is a men's channel here, and I'm helping the guys out. Okay, and I want you guys to have great lives and no drama and turmoil, which just wears men down. So to this guy here who wrote this in, I thank you for your service, and it's great to hear a guy stands up for himself and leads and takes charge. And I know you want to help your girl out, but bro, understand this: you broke up with her. You mentioned twice in the course of this story here, obviously for a reason. So you really need to do some soul searching, figure out, do you want to continue a future with her? Because her family ain't going away. Okay, I'm telling you right now, she can be mad at him and not talk to him for a while, but they're always going to be there. And these will become, if you have children, the kid's family. Her a-hole parents are going to become your kid's grandparents. And the aunts and uncles will become their great uncles and aunts. And you see my point here. So you need to really think about whether you want to have a future with her, where that's going to go. Unless you can have 100% certainty she's going to cut them off completely. And I don't mean 99% certainty. I mean 100% certainty. To me, I think I'd part ways. It's just been too much shit. Okay? I'm older than... I don't mean to be condescending. I don't mean to appear to come off as condescending. But I am older than you, lived a hell of a lot longer, experienced a lot of things that I don't even need to mention here. You've seen things in life I certainly haven't seen, but I've seen a lot of things probably you haven't seen yet. And believe me, it doesn't end well. You don't need this shit in your life. So I'd really think about whether you want to have a future with her. And going forward, you want to, if you're going to be with a girl and perhaps maybe you do in fact want to one day get married, because a lot of guys do, whether they want to admit it or not, you really need to think about getting with a gal that comes from a family that has a lot of good things going on, a lot of love, no drama, because this is a freaking mess. And sadly, there are a lot of families out there that are this screwed up. So for all you guys watching this, you relationship guys, you must do serious screening process. You got to be with her for years before you get real serious with her, and see what her family's like, see the whole dynamic, because that will determine how your situation goes. And even if she cuts them out completely, how she was raised, it's going to be in there somewhere, and that could come out in your nuclear family. See what I mean? And so you don't need that. So just some very important things to bring up, and wisdom to share. I wish this guy the best. I thank you for sending this story, and I hope things go well, but you really got to think that over, man. But anyhow, guys, that is it for today. Be sure to comment down below. Let me know what you think about this. Let me know what you think. You think this guy ought to continue on with her, or simply move on and make sure he has a next girl he's with, if that's his choice, drama-free, a good family, no bullshit and drama. Let him know in the comment section. I guarantee you he's going to read it. And guys, be sure to like the video, share with your friends, and subscribe. And I'll catch you next time.